This is the fourth video in my series on pyuresis, better known as shy bladder syndrome. It's best to watch the videos in order, so if you haven't seen the previous ones, please click on the link appearing at the top of the screen now. This video is about a really powerful tool used in cognitive behavioural therapy called behavioural experiments. To understand why it's so powerful, we have to go back to the anxiety cycle that you learned about in video 1. This shows how negative thoughts drive anxiety, which causes the urethral sphincter to shut, which leads to safety behaviours, which causes more negative thoughts and sends the anxiety cycle around again. Underpinning this ever-evolving cycle are beliefs. Beliefs like people will notice or people will think I'm weird or weak. The safety behaviours you learnt about in video 2 reinforce these beliefs and ensure that they are never disproved. Behavioural experiments seek to test and disprove these beliefs. This is how a behavioural experiment works. First, write down one of the beliefs that is driving your anxiety. If you're struggling to think of one, just ask yourself, why do I avoid public toilets? A common belief is people will notice if you can't pee and think you're weird or weak. Rate the strength of this belief from 1 to 10. Behavioural experiments are hard, so choose something challenging but not overwhelming to start with. If your pyuresis is so severe that you can't use toilet cubicles, then use a toilet cubicle for this experiment. If you can use a cubicle, then try this experiment at the urinal. The experiment instructions are as follows. Pick a public toilet that is large but quiet. Motorway service stations in weekday evenings are often quiet. Enter the toilet and stand at a urinal that is sufficiently far away from others, but within their hearing range if they really try to listen, which, by the way, they don't. Stand at the urinal as if you were going to urinate, but make no attempt to do so. You will feel anxious, but don't fight it and don't leave. Just stay a couple of minutes. Then wash your hands and leave. Before doing the experiment, write down what you will predict will happen. After the experiment, write down what actually happened. Then compare the two. Write down what you have learnt from the experiment and re-rate your strength in the original belief. What most people learn is that no one is paying the slightest bit of attention to you. But it's no good hearing that. You have to experience it for yourself because of the way that the part of the brain that deals with anxiety works, which I explained in video 2. So you need to do the experiment. Here is an example of another experiment to test the belief that everyone thinks you're weird or weak if you can't pee. First, Larry writes down the belief he wants to test. In 10 years of having pyuresis, Larry has never told his wife. She thinks his reluctance to go out is just an antisocial thing. Telling someone about your pyuresis is a very personal decision, and who you tell should be based on your knowledge of that person and your relationship with them. Larry predicted that his wife would think it's weird if he told her. The experiment was to tell her and see how she reacted. When Larry told her, his wife said, "I can understand how it's hard for men. I would not be able to relax if I had to stand next to somebody with no privacy. Now I understand why I don't want to go out. Can I do anything to help?" Larry explained that he was about to enter the desensitization phase of a pyuresis program he was doing to help with this problem. It would help him if his wife would agree to let him choose the venues when they went out. His wife agreed. In the next video, I'm going to explain the desensitization phase, and a link should appear right about now.